What is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny gameplay video. Hey, in this video I want to give you three major tips, three main tactics to confusing your opponent a little bit more regularly and giving you the edge, especially in these 1v1 little engagements that you might get into. So the three things I really want to hit in this video are: one, adding regular directional changes to your movement. Okay, regular directional changes. Number two, making vertical approaches, so adding vertical variety to the way that you approach your engagements. Okay, and then the third thing is the tactic of breaking line of sight before making a major move on your opponent. So break line of sight, then make a move. So I will cover all of those in this video, what that means and what it will do for you. So the first thing I want to talk about is directional changes. Adding regular directional changes to your movement does wonders, absolute wonders for kill streaks, for your overall KD as well, because you're going to be surviving a lot more. So when you add regular directional changes to your movement, a couple of things are going to happen. So basically, one thing that's going to happen is that you're going to get different vantage points. So you see me, I mean, I'm always kind of, especially with controlled jump here on my hunter, like I'm jumping forward and then backward for my second jump, or jumping forward and then sideways, or sideways and then forward. So I'm just adding lots of directional changes in my jumping movement, not just my jumping, but also in the way that I move around the map. So one of the things that I notice when I watch other players who ask me to maybe give them pointers, and I'm watching their gameplay, a lot of times they have a very stagnant gameplay where it's almost like they don't know where they're going to go next. So indecision sort of gets the better of them, and so there's not a lot of variety to their movement. It's pretty two-dimensional. They just kind of go here and look for a target, and then maybe go here and look for a target there. But adding directional changes is going to do wonders for keeping you alive longer and letting you see the battlefield a little bit more clearly. Now, this is a prime example of what I was talking about when I said break line of sight. Now, all three of these tips kind of go tandem. But you see here, I'm being chased by a guy, and he had shots on me. I get around the corner, break line of sight, he can no longer see me. Then I turn on him, I jump, and that's when I make my move. And look, this guy has no freaking clue where I am. Makes for a nice, easy throwing knife kill there. So you're going to see all three of these tips I'm talking about in action in this gameplay. So here, I'm adding vertical variety to the way that I approach my engagements. So I saw that guy, and then I backed up, I broke line of sight, and I didn't want to just peek right back out at the same, sort of vertical tier. So I slid around the corner. So I came out at head level, he shot me, I backed up, and then I slid around the corner so that where his sights are is not where I am when I come around the corner. So it gives me the drop on him, and as long as I hit my shots, as long as I'm accurate, then that's gonna pay off pretty in some pretty nice dividends. So vertical variety to your approaches. You'll see in this gameplay there's a lot of times where I'm going to jump or slide around a corner, or slide into an engagement, or jump into an engagement, and that's going to keep you alive. It's going to force your opponent to have better target acquisition. It's going to force them to have a better shot if they want to drop you. Now, back to adding directional changes to your movement. So one of the things that's going to do is it's going to jack up, kind of like we're talking about, it's going to jack up your opponent's target acquisition. You see here, coming in high on this guy. By the time he figures out where I am, he's dead with a throwing knife. This gameplay here is going to showcase everything I'm talking about. This is, it's a long clip, relatively speaking. This is like a 3-minute clip, I think, and it's a 10 kill streak. And I'm running away from a lot of engagements, and you'll see all these directional changes to my movement, and it's going to keep me alive. So you're going to see lots of instances here where there's red on the radar, and I'm deciding, you know what, I've got a Mida and a sniper in supremacy. Most of these guys probably have shotguns, which they did. So I'm bugging out of a lot of engagements. I'm jacking up their target acquisition. I'm sliding into these engagements, see like I did there, and that's going to, if anyone happens to have their sights trained on that bottleneck, I'm going to come in at a vertical tier that they're not expecting. So this is a relatively long kill streak. A 10 kill streak, I don't mean that that's a long kill streak. I mean that it's a long time to get 10 kills. So it's not like I had 50 kills in this match or anything, but I had a really solid KD because I bugged out of a lot of engagements. I picked up a lot of crests and made directional changes to my movement. I broke line of sight a lot before making moves like coming back and picking up a crest, like you just saw there. And I'm moving around the map, so mobility is a big factor. So all these things, they really play well together. When you add all three of these things to your gameplay, and it's going to take, obviously it might take some time to get to the point where all these things are natural for you. But when you do, you're going to end up having lots more positive games. You're going to be avoiding a lot of unnecessary deaths. Sure, sometimes you get outplayed, but sometimes you just die because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Someone happened to have a sniper rifle trained just at that bottleneck, and you just kind of casually sprinted through that bottleneck, and you were an easy target. You didn't have any variety to the way that you moved through that bottleneck or into that contested area, and it got you killed. Or sometimes you have really predictable movement, so it's easy for your opponent to accurately land their shots. So you're just kind of moving in a straight line as you're trying to run away from them, and you're really easy to gun down in those instances. But when you add directional changes and variety to your movement, then it's going to be harder for them to get shots on you, and it's going to force them to be a little bit more cautious about how they predict your movement. Does that make sense? So you see here, this 10 kill streak is kind of coming to a head. And I've been all around the map. I've been on the top, the sides, both ends of the spawns, the bottom end of the map. So it's a long kill streak where I didn't camp. Far from it. I'm using a sniper and a Mida, which is a pretty passive loadout, but I'm not playing it in a very passive manner. So yeah. So you can play really, really well. You can have mobility be a big factor in your gameplay, even when you're using a sniper rifle or a scout rifle and you're not necessarily bum rushing with a shotgun. Mobility is not for shotgunners alone. So snipers definitely need to take good advantage of it. In fact, some of the coolest clips that I've ever seen in Destiny are people who use snipers in a really, really mobile way. So those are the three things I would challenge you to really consider adding into your gameplay as a regular factor. Okay, first one is adding directional changes to your movement. Okay, so you're not just moving in a straight linear path. Okay, lots of directional changes. Second one is making vertical approaches, adding the seat like this, adding vertical variety to the way that you approach engagements. So don't just walk around the cover there, but I used verticality to get a beat on the guy and to juke him. Okay, and then the third thing, break line of sight before you make a move. So break the line of sight and then reinitiate the engagement from a different vantage point, adding variety to your movement. So those three things, think about those. Think about how that might change your gameplay. Force yourself to really be mobile. Even if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're like, I don't know why I'm jumping here. I don't know why I'm changing directions in my jump here when I'm not in an engagement. Hey, it's fine. You're getting used to adding variety to your movement. Understanding when is going to come with practice. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the gameplay. Looking forward to playing some trials today, and feel free to stop by the stream. Just as a heads up, the Twitch stream did reach 500 subs this past week, which is awesome. It's a huge milestone, so thank you so much to all the recent subscribers. So a way to celebrate that milestone, we launched, my wife and my mod set this up. Actually, this wasn't even my idea. They told me they did it. But they launched a limited edition True Vanguard shirt campaign to celebrate the milestone. It's only going to be available for, I think, another week and a half. Week and a half. Anyways, so I'll drop the link to that if you're interested in picking up one of those shirts. My wife got me one and her one, and a number of other people have already picked one up just to celebrate that milestone. And then the shirt will be unavailable after about a week from now. So thank you so much, everyone who has supported my content. Y'all mean the world to me, and I'll catch you in the Crucible.